Okay, this next video is going to be about combining like terms. Okay, so we said before that like terms are terms that have the same variable, or in the case of constants, constants are also considered like terms because they both don't have any variables attached to them. Okay, so we are going to look at these pieces. It's going to be helpful to still box up our pieces. Okay, so I'm going to start by looking at our 3x plus 2 plus 5x. And I'm going to box it up as 3x plus 2 plus 5x. Now, I'm really going to work through these questions. Some of you might get so good at this that you don't have to box it up all the time, or you might not need to rewrite the terms every time. And some of you might just look at this and say, I know what the answer is. And if that's the case, by all means, go for it, as long as you're doing it correctly. If we see that you're having some trouble, we're going to say, okay, well, let's go through some of these steps that I'm doing in this video to help us out here. So we have 3x plus 2 plus 5x. Our like terms are the 3x and the 5x. Okay, they have x's in common. So that's what we're allowed to combine together. So 3x plus 5x is 8x. I have 3 x's and I have 5 more x's. That means altogether I have 8 x's. Our x's don't change. We're just adding up how many we have. Okay, sometimes it's helpful to think of them as items. If I have 3 xylophones and I add 5 xylophones, I'm going to have 8 xylophones. Okay, so I still have the same variable, just I have 8 of them. And then that plus 2, there is no other constant that goes along with it. So our answer here is just 8x plus 2. Notice I cannot squish them together and say 10x because 8x and 2 are not like terms, which is why you're finished. Okay, so you've gotten really used to getting like a single number as an answer in math. Okay, that's what is a little bit harder about this is that our answers are no longer necessarily going to be single numbers. Okay, we're going to have expressions as our answers in the end. Another way of writing this, okay, we could technically do the number first if we wanted to. It is usually a little bit better when we put the x or the variable first, but I could reverse this and say 2 plus 8x. That would also be an acceptable answer. For the next one, we have 9w minus 8 minus 3w. The pieces I'm allowed to put together are the 9w minus 3w. So I'm going to rewrite that. And 9w minus 3w's would give us 6w's. And once again, there's nothing that we can do with that minus 8. So we're just going to kind of bring it down. So our answer would be 6w minus 8. If we wanted to reverse it, we have to be careful with our signs on this one. Okay, the constant that we have is a negative 8 because it's a minus 8 there. So we could say negative 8. And then the 6w that would come next, there's an invisible plus, a visible positive in front of it. So the operation we would have to put here is a plus 6w. Okay, I'm not going to write every single answer as 2 different ways, but I just want to make sure I showed you one that had a negative in there. So you know you can't just flip-flop them. Okay, you have to make sure the signs stay consistent. The next one, we have negative 7y plus 5 plus 2y and plus 15. Here, I'm allowed to put together my negative 7y and my positive 2y. And I can also do a positive 5 and a positive 15. So negative 7y plus 2y. You have to be careful of our integer rules. Negative 7 plus 2 would be negative 5. So it is negative 5y. And then a positive 5 and a positive 15 is a positive 20. So now combining my 2 pieces together, and we get negative 5y plus 20. Next one, 3x plus 2y minus 9x and plus 8. Here I can put together my 3x and my negative 9x. And that's really all I can do here. Okay, so we have 3x minus 9x. Okay, use your integer rules. 3 and a negative 9, signs are different, subtract. This would give us negative 6x. And then my other two pieces, I have nothing to combine them with. So my final answer here is actually going to have three pieces, the x's, the y's, and the constants. So I'm going to say negative 6x plus 2y and plus 8. Down to the bottom row, we have negative 7b plus 3 plus b and minus 10. So I have my negative 7b and my plus b. And then I have my positive 3 and my minus 10. And so I'm going to put my b's together first. So we have negative 7b plus b. And it may be helpful here if we remember that that plus b is really a positive 1b. Okay, so now a negative 7 and a positive 1 gives us a negative 6b. 3 minus 10 is negative 7. So put them together for our final answer. We get negative 6b minus 7. Okay, we got 5 plus 8w minus 6 minus w. For my variables, I have a plus 8w and a minus w. And for my constants, I have a 5 and a negative 6. So for my variables, 8w minus w. Okay, if I really wanted to think of that as a 1 in there, I can. So 8w's minus 1w gives us 7w's. And 5 minus 6 would be negative 1. Put our two terms together, 7w minus 1. And last example, a little bit bigger here. So we're just going to take it slow and make sure we're combining together what we're allowed to combine. So 2x minus 3 plus 4x plus 9 minus 8 and minus 9x. My variables here that I can combine are 2x plus 4x minus 9x and minus 3 plus 9 and minus 8. Okay, so for my variables, we got 2x plus 4x and minus 9x. And now obviously we have more here than we had before, but just do it in pieces. So 2x plus 4x is 6x. And then 6x's minus 9x's would be negative 3x. Then for the constants, we got negative 3 plus 9 and a minus 8. So once again, I'll put the first two together. Signs are different, subtract. That's a positive 6. And then 6 minus 8 is a negative 2. So final answer, negative 3x minus 2. Okay. If you have colored pencils, highlighters, definitely may be helpful to some of you that need that visual of what's allowed to be put together. On the next page, you have 7 practice questions that we want you to try now. And there is a Google form that you're going to submit your answers into so that it'll grade it for you and you can see how you did.